Hey, all right. So I know some of you all are going, Oudgasm? Did Lou go out and buy the Oudgasm collection? Now, come on, y'all. Y'all know me. I absolutely did not. Now, as I always say, I don't have a problem with Kayali as a brand. So before the, Kayali stands start losing their mind, it's not about Kayali as a brand. I don't think their fragrances are bad or anything. I'm sure a lot of them are lovely. However, it's just the marketing strategy and the rapidness of their offerings just feels a little beauty YouTube. It vibes beauty YouTuberish and color popish to me, because it's just the amount that's coming out, and so that's what holds me back from really getting into them. And plus, the contrary person that I am, I'm just like, no, I'm good. So if you love Kayali, this is not to diss Kayali, not at all. However, this is just looking at what the Oudgasm collection is and looking at what I already own and saying, oh, let me give you my Oudgasm collection. And this is coming from a person who's been buying oud fragrances. And I know a lot of women still are, trying to try out oud, which is what the Oudgasm collection, from what I can gather, does. It's not an extremely in-your-face oud collection, but it does, it gives you oud. And some people, and because Kayali's market is women. I mean, let's just be honest. Most of her things, except for the Santals, were created with women in mind. And so, a lot of women are just now, because of that, looking into oud, because oud can be a very polarizing, very you either love it or hate it, and you have to be ready for it, because oud is in many different vibes you can get from oud. From the most well blended, just very I want to say mellow oud wood, because it just blends well. It's just a really it gives a certain vibe, a certain style to the fragrance. Or it's a skanky barnyard, can be fecal smelling, just, too much for a lot of people. So I wanted to give you all some more choices. So as opposed to saying this is it, and now you got to go out here and find some more things if you start liking oud, but you're not quite sure, I got you. So I'm about to give you my Oudgasm collection. Hey y'all, don't forget, if you've tried any of these, to put it in the comments, because I always like, this is a conversation, and I don't want to be the only one talking about these fragrances, especially for people who are thinking about them. So good or bad, let us know how they vibed with you if you've tried any of the ones that I'm about to tell you about. Okay, let's go on and get started. All right, so now let's get started. Let's talk. All right, so we're going to start with Rose, of course. And Rose Oud is classic. That is where most ouds start, with a nice Rose Oud. The Rose Oud is it. And so with that being said, we're going to start with Rose Oud, because that is where you start. You kind of want, most people start with a Rose Oud because that is so prevalent. It is the standard of what, when you think of a oud fragrance, that's, most of them start there. So let me give you a few to choose from. So here in each category, I'm gonna give you like 2, maybe 3 to think about. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is this one right here. Now this is Barakat Satin Oud by Fragrance World. which is a dupe of Oud Satin Mood. So if you have Oud Satin Mood, or you're thinking about that, here's a good dupe of it. And what it is Oud Satin Mood is a very, very subtle, very refined oud. This is rose. It is powdery because it has it has violet in it. So it's a powdery, rosy oud. And it's quite gorgeous on male or female. It's very unisex. But what it is just like this very easygoing, mild oud. You get the oud, you get the wood vibe from it, but it's not so overpowering that it can be off-putting for somebody who's just really not into oud. So this is Barakat Satin Oud, otherwise Oud Satin Mood, by this one by Fragrance World, of course, by Francis Kirkjohn, MFK. So this is a good starter point. If you are just looking into ouds and you never tried them, I would suggest getting this as opposed to going to get the MFK, because that is a more pricier one. So this will be a good way to start with them as opposed to spending the extra money for the MFK version. So this is that one. Then we have, this is Club de Nuit Intense by Armov. This is the woman's version. This is another dupe. This is a dupe of Tom Ford's Noir de Noir. So this is a little more intense. This is a spicy rose oud. So this, but the oud, you're getting that rose oud combination. The spices give it, the wood, a little, it makes it a little more easy to wear in a very sexy way. So this is a very intense fragrance. It's sexy, it's rosy, it's spicy, it has vanilla in it. It is, the oud is you know, strong. This is a stronger version of oud, which then lends itself to you being more into oud. So this is Club de Nuit Intense for women, and like I said, it's really something that you have to be prepared for the oud. You have to be somebody who's willing to, that you're ready to turn heads and be seen. And this is also, as I always say, a bad girl, bad boy fragrance, because it is very intense. So this is Club de Nuit Intense for women. This one is a newer one to mine because I have a lot of rose ouds, but I just want to give you three. This is Rose Anonymie. This is the extract version by Atelier Cologne. This is a classic rose oud, but it also has incense. Now for me, when I like a classic rose oud, for me is very intense on the oud and the rose, and this is both. So when there's a certain, when rose and oud come together, they make a certain scent that if you wear rose oud combinations, you can pick it out immediately. And this is what this has. This also has incense, so it is an incensey rose oud. This is not for everybody, but this is really a gothic, dark, edgy rose. As I always say, this is a dark, edgy rose, incensey, oudy rose, and the rose is prominent enough for you to get the florals from it while still giving you that oud, that the spotlight on the oud with the incense. So this is Rose Anonymie by Atelier de Cologne. All right, next up is vanilla. We know we love vanilla. We know we love sweetness. And of course, when we think of sweet ones, which was a rose oud combination, is Oud Bouquet. That's where we all kind of started. There's so many versions of vanilla ouds, you know, out there, but I'm going to give you these three to think about. So here's the first one. This is Mancera's Oud Vanille. Now, I have to be honest, this is one of those things that has gotten better with time. When I first got it, the oud, the vanilla was kind of tough. It was a really tough fragrance when you first put it on. It was definitely giving you woody and things, but now it's a little more spicy. It's like a spicy vanilla with the oud in it. So the oud, the Mancera oud is a little more smooth. It's not too in your face. It's not too strong. It's a very good, It's a well blended oud with whatever the other notes are. So this is very warm, spicy vanilla with oud, and that is what Oud Vanilla is. Now another oud that you could try is Oud's Golden Oud. This is caramel vanilla. This is a deep, rich caramel and vanilla oud, and the oud is just one of those silky smooth ouds. You get that oud vibe, you get the woodiness of it, but it's so silky and smooth that it's so easy to wear. So if you are looking to get into oud and you want to try something that, but you kind of don't want it to be too much, this is beautiful. It is silky smooth vanilla caramel oud, and that is Golden Oud by Oud. Now this one I just got. The one that one of the ones I was going to put in my vanilla ones, honestly, was Vanilla Oud by Dream House of Curio. However, in my conversation with Vincent the other day, he mentioned that he will no longer be offering this. The reason being is a couple of the fragrance components are no longer available to him, so he's taking it off and it is gone forever. So I got one of the last bottles. Ooh, I'm so glad, because it is gorgeous. Oh, and by the way, the Dream House of Curio sale is still going on. Let me do my promotion. So the Dream House of Curio sale is still on. It has been extended to November 5th for people who have ordered samples and are trying some things out to see what they want. That's number one. Number two, the sale, the contest ends on the 1st. Now let me tell you this. You are not officially in the contest unless you put LuuLuu Scent Me, SCENT, you know, scent, smell, scent me, and put the fragrance that you would like to win in the comments in the checkout comment box. You know what I'm talking about. So make sure you do that if you're ordering, because I want you in the contest, because there's going to be a pool of people who put LuuLuu Scent Me, and he's going to pull from just that pool for a bottle. So I'm saying, so it's not the full group, it's each person. If you put someone's name, you're in that pool. So my pool of people ain't gonna be that big, so your chances of winning is pretty dang good. So go on and do it. Okay, so now next up, let me just go back to what I was talking about. That was that for there. Then I put dreamhouseofcurio.com there too, so okay. All right, so the next one in the vanilla ouds, and I just got this yesterday, and I have been looking at the notes because I got on him, and I was like, let me try this on. And y'all need to try this. This is Kai Fragrances There Will Always Be a You. This is vanilla and caramel with sea salt oud. I sprayed this on and I was like, OMG. So I just got them. He just sent them to me. These are from Jerikai from Ganache Perfumes. He has a new, he's just began a new fragrance company, Kai Fragrances. And this is, if you want a sweet vanilla caramely oud, but this one has salt in it, like a salted caramel. And then it dries down and has a little musk in it. You want this. You want me to show it to you again? There will always be a you. I'm just telling you. You need this in your life. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. All right, so this is by Kai Fragrances. A salted caramel vanilla oud. Did you hear me? A salted caramel vanilla oud. Boom. There we go. All right, next up is coffee oud. So cafe oud. So I have a couple of those, and I have I have an alternative other than coffee oud for you. I'm ready. Okay, so here is the first one, and this is a newer one to my collection. Y'all gonna be like, where did this come from? Because many of y'all know pretty much almost a lot of my stuff. This is Atkinson's The Other Side of Oud. Look at this bottle, y'all. It's given. Okay, so this is the other side of oud. This is a coffee oud. It is a spiced coffee oud. Now, when you first put it on, you get a blast of cardamom. It has cardamom and I think has saffron. It's a really spicy blast. Really, honestly, comes off a little masculine for the first minute or two, but then as it dries down and it calms down, you really do get a spicy coffeed oud. So you get that oud, and the oud in Atkinson's is a very highbrow oud. You know, we're talking, you know, like you are dressed to the nines and you're wearing this. Did I say dressed to the nines? Did I sound like I was from, like, you know, 1922? Okay, so anyway, this is a really well balanced oud. The oud is not too prominent. It's perfect if you're just trying out ouds. And it's a coffee oud, so it's got the spiciness. It becomes a spicy, woody, oudy coffee vibe. So this is the other side of oud. Then we have Oud Cafe by Mancera. This I've had for years. This is another one. Now this is an interesting one because it has a peachy note to it. So it has a little peachy coffee vibe to it. I don't know, I'm not a coffee drinker. Is that a thing? So this is a peachy coffee vibe. And then it has a little spices in it. And you do have, like I said, that Mancera oud, which is a very well blended, very sophisticated and elegant oud. Not too tough to deal with, not too tough to wear. It's a very elegant upscale oud. And then you get the coffee, and as it dries down, it gets a little woody and a little more vanilla. It gets a little sweeter, and it's like this fruity coffee vibe. I don't know how to explain it other than a fruity coffee vibe. So this is Oud Cafe. Now you're saying, I don't really like to wear, I don't know if I really want to wear coffee and oud. I don't know if I like coffee. Well, let me tell y'all, I got something for you. Not a coffee person, but you like tea, you want Oud Save the Queen by Atkinson. Baby, this is a spicy tea. It's like Earl Grey tea with spices and oud, and it is so delicious. They are kind of similar, of course. The other side of Oud Save the Queen are similar, but this one is a tad more elegant. Like I said, the other side of oud has a very blast of spice, kind of harsh in the beginning, where this is smooth. The spices are smooth. You get that tea vibe, and you get the oud, and the oud is just glorious. It is a very elegant, and like I said, smooth and sophisticated oud fragrance. So this is Oud Save the Queen by Atkinson. For in case you don't want to do coffee, you can have a little tea in your life. Now, tobacco ouds. So for a minute, I was looking around. I was trying to figure out what to order to have a tobacco oud. I was like, ooh, tobacco. Looking red tobacco, things like that. I was looking for a tobacco-y, a smoky tobacco-y oud. Only to notice that I already had some in my collection. So I'm going to give you two different types of tobacco-y oud. One for the girly girls, and a very sexy, dark, in-your-face tobacco oud. So the one for the girly girls who are saying, you know, oud just seems a little too much for me, and it's, you know, and then you're gonna add on tobacco, that's too much. You know, I like my stuff a little girly. I want to smell like fruity. I want to smell, you know, florals. I want to smell like that. This is the one for you. This is Empathy by the House of Oud. Y'all, this is a smoky it's a smoky raspberry oud. So and here the oud is extremely subtle. So this is perfect if you want to try oud, but you're not sure about it, and you ain't trying to smell like a barnyard skanky vibe. And you're still working on loving woody fragrances, right? This one right here. The oud is very subtle, and then but the raspberry is so gorgeous, and it gets this smokiness to it from the tobacco. So you're getting a fruity tobacco-y oud. Gorgeous. So this is the one for the girly girls, and it's pink. You see that? Now this one, this is a dark smoky oud. Now the oud is very well blended, very sophisticated, and very elegant. But this is a dark, bad girl, bad boy, very unisex attention getter. This is Amaroon's Oud After Dark. This is plum and peach, and these are like cooked plum, like stewed plums and peaches. So it has a very very cooked, very heaviness to it. So this is a heavy one. This is definitely for the winter. This is definitely really winter. Fall, it better be a crisp fall day. Don't be talking about it's like a 60 degrees. No. You need to be in the 40s for this. And so it's very, but it's very dark. It has a darkness to it. And as it dries down, the plum and the peach, the plum especially, is still there as you get the smokiness and you get the oud. So in the beginning, it's more plum, it's more peach. It actually, the beginning, I'm not as in love with. It's like, it's okay, but the longer you wear it, the sexier and the more attention grabbing it gets, because the plum and the peach start to get with that tobacco and get a smokiness to it, and then that oud, gives it that sophisticated wood vibe. That is Amaroon's Oud After Dark. So this is, once again, is perfectly unisex, but it is a very heavy, deep, rich, dark fragrance. That is not for everybody, but if you want to step out and turn heads and have people going, oh my, just like kind of like a mysterious vibe, this is perfect if you're going to be someplace and you kind of don't want to be approached, but you do want to be approached. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those situations where you might be going someplace where you really don't know a lot of people, so you don't want a lot of people coming to you, but you want the right people to come towards you. And the right people will be the ones who will pick up on this and feel like, oh, I want to be around that person. And that is what Amaroon Oud After Dark is going to give you. So that is a smoky, plummy peach, tobacco-y oud. All right, so that is my Oudgasm collection. I hope that I gave you some things to think about. I hope that I, gave you the ability to have something different, because, people are being pushed toward oud. Us ladies are getting pushed toward oud. But I wanted to give y'all something a little different, something that would make you stand out even more than the Kayalis. Because, hey, listen, in normal times, in our normal daily lives, most people ain't gonna know what you're wearing, whether you're wearing the Kayalis or one of these. But for you, for your personal thing, for how you want to vibe, and you want something a little different that really gives you like those Oudgasm vibes, this is the collection for you. All right, my loves. As always, it's your perfume ho, LuuLuu. Be bold, be brave, be fearless, be free.